My dear students, how are you all? I hope you all are fine. Today, in this video, we are going to talk about some famous people. Let's start with Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda was an Indian Hindu monk and a key figure in the introduction of Indian philosophies of Vedanta and Yoga to the Western world. Ramakrishna Mission is a Hindu religious and spiritual organization which forms the core of a worldwide spiritual movement known as the Ramakrishna movement or the Vedanta movement. The mission was named after inspired by the Indian saint Ramakrishnan Paramhans and founded by Swami Vivekananda on 1st May 1897. Next is Bachendri Pal. Bachendri Pal is the first Indian woman to reach the summit of Mount Everest. In 24 May 1954, Bachendri Pal born. She was born into a rural working class family in Uttarakhand and she was one of the 7 children. She chosen to be a professional mountaineer. Soon, she got success in her chosen field. After submitting a number of small peaks, she was selected to join India's first mixed gender team to attempt an expedition to Mount Everest. They started their journey in early May 1984. Her team almost met disaster. More than half of the group forced to abandon the ascent because of injury. Pal and the remainder of the group continued and she reached the summit on 23rd May 1984. Now the next is Dr. Homi Bhabha. Homi Jahangir Bhabha was an Indian nuclear physicist, founding director and professor of physics at the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, which is in shortly known as TIFR. Bhabha was also founding director of the Atomic Energy Establishment Trombay, which is shortly known as AEET, which is now named the Bhabha Atomic Research Center in his honor. TIFR and AEET were the cornerstone of Indian development of nuclear weapons, which Bhabha also supervised as director. Now the next is Dr. Radhakrishnan. Indian President is also known as Rashtrapati. President of India is appointed by the Electoral College of India for the term of 5 years. The first President of India was Dr. Rajendra Prasad from 26th January 1950 to 13th May 1962. The second President of India was Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan from 13th May 1962 to 13th May 1967. Our current President of India is Ram Nath Kovind from 25th July 2017 to till date. Now the next is Mihir Sen. Mihir Sen was an Indian long-distance swimmer and businessman. He was the first Indian to swim the English Channel from Dover to Calais in 1958. He was the only man to swim the ocean of the 5 continents in one calendar year in 1966. This unique achievement earned by him got placed in the Guinness Book of Records as the world's greatest long-distance swimmer. Now the next is APJ Abdul Kalam. APJ Abdul Kalam is known as the Missile Man of India for his work on development of ballistic missile and launch vehicle technology. He also played a pivotal organizational, technical and political role in India's Pokhran 11 nuclear test in 1998. He was the 11th President of India from 2002 to 2007. Now, the next is Vallabhbhai Patel. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was popularly known as Sardar Patel or Iron Man of India. Sardar Patel was an Indian politician. He served as the first Deputy Prime Minister of India. He was an Indian barrister, a senior leader of the Indian National Congress, and a founding father of the Republic of India. Now, the next is Raja Ram Mohan Roy. In 1811, Roy witnessed his brother's widow being burned alive on her husband's funeral pyre. After 3 years later, he concentrated on complaining against the practice of women dying as sati. Raja Ram Mohan Roy was the first Indian to protest against this custom, sati pratha. Now the next is Milkha Singh. Milkha Singh is known as Flying Sikh. Milkha Singh, persuaded by Jawaharlal Nehru to set aside his memories of the partition era to race successfully in 1960 against Abdul Khalid in Pakistan, where a post-race commenced by the General Ayub Khan led to him acquiring the nickname of the Flying Sikh. Now the next is Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore was a poet, philosopher, musician, writer and educationist. Tagore became the first Asian to win Nobel Prize for his collection of poems Gitanjali in 1913. He was popularly called as Gurudev, and his songs were popularly known as Rabindra Sangeet. Now the next is Kalpana Chawla. Kalpana Chawla became the first woman of Indian descent to go into space, although she was with NASA. She was one of the 7 members on the lifted Space Shuttle Columbia, which disintegrated upon atmospheric entry, killing all 7 in 2003. Now the next is Rakesh Sharma. Rakesh Sharma, a former Indian Air Force pilot, was the first Indian to travel to space. Sharma was a part of Soviet Union's Soyuz T-11 expedition launched on 2nd April 1984 as of the Indian Enter-Cosmos program. Now the next is Margaret Thatcher. She was the longest serving British Prime Minister of the 20th century and the first woman to hold that office. A Soviet journalist gave her the name Iron Lady. This nickname became associated with her uncompromising politics and leadership style. Now the next is Dhyan Chand. Major Dhyan Chand was an Indian hockey player and one of the greatest hockey players in the history of the sports. He was known for his extraordinary goal-scoring feats in addition to earning 3 Olympic gold medals in 1928, 1932 and 1936. Now the next is William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was an English playwright, poet and actor, widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's greatest dramatic. He is often called England's national poet and the Bard of Avon. The next is Sarojini Naidu. Sarojini Naidu is known as the Nightingale of India or Bharatiya Kokila because of her poetry. It has a lyrical quality and often various types of meter and rhythm. She was the first woman to become the governor of an Indian state. Now the next is John Henry Anderson. John Henry Anderson is known as the Wizard of the North. In 1840, Anderson settled in London, opening a new theatre. Sir Walter Scott gave him the stage name the Great Wizard of the North. The next is Dadabhai Naoroji. Dadabhai Naoroji is known as Grand Old Man of India. He is associated with this title predominantly because of his immense contribution to India's freedom struggle against the British Raj. Now the next is Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Bal Gangadhar Tilak is called as Lokmanya Tilak. He was the first one of the Lal Bal Pal triumvirate. Tilak was the first leader of the Indian independence movement. Now the next is Queen Elizabeth I. Queen Elizabeth I was called as Good Queen Bess, in part because Bess is a nickname of Elizabeth. The next is Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler is known as Führer. In Germany, Führer means leader or guide. The next is Lala Lajpat Rai. Lala Lajpat Rai was an Indian freedom fighter. He was popularly known as Punjab Kesari. I hope this video will help you in doing exercise of page number 14 and 28 of your book. Stay home, stay safe, stay healthy. Bye-bye.